something that I found peace in with me, and I've already knew this, but is, hearing those words always helps, is that, you know, frustration and anger are usually like what they call them secondary emotions, right? So usually you get angry because of another feeling that you have, and the anger is kind of to safeguard you from that other feeling. And I will honestly say, for the first time probably ever, and people have always said that I'm emotionally intelligent, but I've been at the most in touch with my emotions that I have ever been at any point in my life. All right, in my dark and twisted, crazy ass mind, in the mind of Haize segment, I really have a couple of things to talk to you guys about this week. Before we get into like news topics and things that are like in the popular culture, I'm just going to talk to you about something that's like on my mind, just in general. And this is going to dig into a little bit of like the creative world and stuff like that. And something that I have always done since I've been in this creative space is I've given information, help people with things, and I've never like been one to withhold it or to not help somebody because either I don't know them or whatever. Like I help people freely. A lot of new podcasters I've helped. That's part of the kind of why the Breaks Media Networks turned into what it turned into. It's because I've always been someone that like I want to help creatives be the best they can. And then but something that came up actually in my meeting with Tech Foul is that I'm gonna start now, especially since I do video consistently and I'm one of the podcasters that do that. I'm gonna start like really trying to buy more merch from other podcasts and wear it on my videos, kind of help them promote as well, and support. So, we'll be on the lookout for that. My graphic tee collection is immaculate as it is. So, like, to add podcasters that I really fuck with and their merch into that is going to be dope also, and I really look forward to it. But outside of that, like, something that's really been on my mind, right, is that people come and ask me for information, ask to be mentored, or ask how can I help improve their sound and XYZ. And there's things that I typically don't charge people for when they come and help. And no, this isn't going to be an advertisement where I'm now saying I'm going to charge everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But I started getting this thought, like, and I'm not going to call out any names, right? But like, the thing that I think we all need to start valuing and realizing is that our time is valuable. I've said it on the podcast before, a few episodes ago, that I feel like one of the worst things that happens to all of us as adults is that we go to work, work for these companies, and they tell us how much our time's worth an hour. And it's really kind of bullshit when you think about it, but I know that's the system and that's the world that we live in. But my thing is that I've given so much free information to people that then turn around and I don't know. It's so I say this to say is that I'm going to be more selective on the people that I do mentor, the people that I do help, the people that I do put a lot of time in. I can give anybody any information. If you're a creative that you're listening to and you want some information on how to improve your sound, reach out to me. I'm always going to give it. But I'm talking about that more hands-on approach. If I'm doing that, again, like, it's going to be a bit more selective. No, you don't have to just be a member of the Breaks Media for that. Not at all. I would never say that. But at the same time, I'm starting to realize, like, a lot of the time that I put out and put into the creative space hasn't necessarily come back. And you don't ever, like, I'm never somebody that does things like this. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I do something for you, and next time I ask you to do something for me, I'm going to hang it over your head. Most of the creatives that I've helped, honestly, if you go and you ask them, I have almost never, other than like guesting on my show so we can talk, like I may reach back out and say, hey, I got a concept for you, I want you to be the guest on, but I never hold it off over people's heads like, hey, I did this for you, I gave you this mic, because at that point, why are you doing it? But I think even with that being said, I need to be more selective because honestly, and I've always said I never get burnt out doing this, but I think people have taken advantage of that, right? And that's something that it's not on them. It's not on them. That's not their fault. I don't hold any ill will towards them at all for the people who have, like, because at the same time, if I'm starting something out and I have somebody that I can go to for information, like it's who isn't going to do that? Who is going to use that resource to the best of their benefit? But the thing that I realize is not even necessarily that people don't give that back, but it's a lot of time and energy that I've put into certain podcasts and creatives that didn't even last. You feel me? So like if they fizzled out. And so like I look at how much time I went into helping them, and then like 6 months later I've showed you the key to making great sound, and I've showed you how to use your equipment to do it, and you rather default back to something because it's easier, and then wonder and then hit me back up and asking me to help you grow. You didn't even do what I asked you to do last time. So because of that, I think like I'm going to be more selective over who I choose to put a bunch of time in. I'm going to still help every creative out there. If you want any advice, if you need any advice, if you want to learn camera work, I'm still going to do my live streams when we get back to doing those. The day may change though. I may actually start doing those on Monday mornings. And I'm still going to do my live streams where I help people with creativity, marketing, and all that. I'm still going to do all that because that's a passion that I have. But if you need that one-on-one approach, everybody isn't going to get that access to me going forward. And that's just something that's on my mind. And like I said, it's not their fault. That's my fault. My fault for overextending myself and not really doing my due diligence to see where these people are at or their mindset is at with the business side of podcasting, if they're going to last long in this, because there's nothing worse than putting hours into helping somebody with their craft, and then 3 months later they're gone. Like in the creativity and that knowledge could have been given to somebody else. So I'm just going to be more selective on that, but that's just my own personal thing. That I wanted to spit on here and talk about. But outside of that, we're going to now get into the other two topics that I want to talk about. And the first one is, so this Entanglements track dropped with August Alsina and Rick Ross. And I know we'll be probably getting into it more in depth on the Breaks Radio. So make sure you're checking out the Breaks Radio, which is the hip hop podcast. It's more everything culture, but we talk about music and stuff a little bit more focused there. But so this song, I listened to it, I think 1 or 2 times before I'm like, listen, I got to see a lyrics breakdown for this. So then they had a lyric version video on YouTube where it broke down the lyrics. And my thing on this is like, and I think I even tweeted out like the day before this came out, like if August didn't use like entanglement or untangled or something like that to in his next album, I didn't think we'd get a track necessarily because he just dropped the album. But it makes sense and capture the wave. But like what he did on this track, and even Rick Ross, like I will say, I'm not one to like call people out or being messy or not, but like listening to this, it was just like, damn, we talk about a woman scorned all the time. This man August is a man scorned, and like I get it at this point now. I feel like it's just kind of draining it. Like at this point, like you're keeping it going, and in some of the lyrics, I'm not going to do a complete breakdown here, but like he talked about like unhappy with your man, or you want to get back at your man, so you started fucking with him, and like we get it. Like I think at this point now, we kind of all piece together what was happening. They did their interview, August, you did yours, you now dropped the song, and my thing is, what I worry about it from this aspect is that August is a talented artist. You can say you don't like the way he sings, you can say you don't like some auto-tune, like I get all those critiques. But August Alsina is a talented artist. And now we're reaching dangerously close to the point where it's going to be August known more as the person who exposed Jada and Will than is going to be about his artistry. And I don't like the fact, for me personally, that it's like that's becoming you just dropped an album. Is anybody really even talking about August's album? Everybody's talking about this. And I get it. Controversy sells. And all that stuff, but at this point it's just I'm looking at this and I'm just like, bro, come on, man. Like, and I get it, like I get it to the extent of like your name's in the news, like it's smart from a PR, not necessarily PR, but a marketing standpoint, this entanglement thing and how it blew up on social media, and you want to try to capture that. I get it. My thing is like, why did it take this long? Like we're at like a week or 2 at this point since the whole Red Table Talks came, and it's like we're just keeping the bullshit going, and it just worries me on how much longer this is gonna go on. It may be going on. We may be getting this for another couple of months. Who knows? But I'm just kind of over it. And I want to know how you guys feel about it. Like when the song dropped, I know people have said like the song's actually pretty all right. I'll say I listened to it. It's cool. It's a cool song. It's not horrible. But it's like, yeah, and then Rick Ross with that lyric where he uses jaded, we know what you're doing, and I get it. It's slick wordplay, but it's just, come on, August, man. We got to do better than this, bro. We got to do better than this, man. The Light Skin Coalition is not going to continue standing for this now, but I just wanted to get my thoughts on that. And then the next thing that's kind of on my mind is this Kanye West, right? So he had his first rally. And Like, this thing just seemed like such a shit show and an attention grab. And my thing is like, shout out to Hype Williams, because she said it on Denny Talks that she does on IG Live. Make sure you're checking that out. We said it too on the Breaks Radio. Mary pointed it out. Like, this whole presidential thing is a whole, we know it's a thing for your album. You got an album coming out, you want to do press on it. We've everything's been gone through on the factor that it's just not feasible for Kanye West to run for president at this point. But let's not even talk about that, because the political aspect of it, because I feel like it's so corny and just an attention grab, we're not going to focus on that. There is something seriously wrong with Kanye West. And I think while we're all seeing it and it's entertaining and it's funny, it's super concerning from the standpoint of when you're thinking about this man's mental health. Something's not right there. And I don't use that lightly. Like, we got the whole Harriet Tubman phrase, which I'll play right now for you guys. So we got that whole thing, right? And then, like, there was another thing where he just kind of broke down and started crying. Like, Kanye West is not well. And mark my words when I say this. It may not be this year. It may not even be next year. But it's going to be something ugly and super concerning that happens with Kanye in regards to his mental health soon. Relatively soon. Mark my words on that. Like, when you look at Kanye, like, it's the perfect definition and example of somebody who theoretically would have everything you would think of in the world if you base it off money and even a successful career. But when you add in the mental health aspect, and Kanye just seems like we get it. We've done a whole thing on the Breaks Radio too. Like, Kanye has never quite been the same since his mother left. His mother passed away. That's understandable. I haven't lost a parent. I could never imagine what that pain is like to lose a parent. But when you add in the bipolar disorder on there, and I don't like throwing everything under just, well, you know, Kanye, he's bipolar, but like some people do and some outlets do. But at the same time, this thing with Kanye West is, it's fucking, as a black man, as a man, as a human, just to see somebody like this, you gotta, and this is why it's important to have people around you that call you on your shit. This is why it's important to have people around you who are truly concerned about you. And I'm not saying Kanye doesn't have anybody he doesn't have anyone around him, that he's lacking anyone around him that's concerned about his mental health, because I'm sure he's married, he has kids, they need him and they need him to be healthy. So I'm not trying to act like nobody cares about Kanye West, but I think you run into the syndrome where people are afraid to call you out because of your status, and maybe because they're making their lives based off you being able to do your career effectively. But somebody you would hope is around Kanye, in his circle, in his life, that can tell him, bro, you need to shut all this shit down and get some fucking help. Because that's what it's boiling down to. It's fucking concerning. It's scary as shit. And like I say, if it continues down the path without some course correction, I see this being ugly, really soon. And people will say that it's already been ugly. I don't think that's even the tip of how ugly it can get if this shit continues down the current path that it's on. That's my opinion. You guys may not share it, but that's where I currently stand on this shit with Kanye West. And I really feel like it's going to be ugly. And so that's it, really. That's all I got on my mind for this segment. Media.